tell you what Murray can't afford to do today. He's come out slow like he did in the second match, in his last match against Ferrer, last group match.
Yeah, looked a little nervous in that one, but you can tell in the body language, the demeanour, that he knows that he needs to hit the ground running today, and he's certainly up for it.
Come on the second point of the match. Gotta love that.
Nadal forces you to do that, doesn't he? Because he doesn't give you anything for free, and you know that only the best will suffice when you come up against him.
And I think one of the reasons we've seen Murray play well against Nadal in the past, especially on a hard court, is because the game plan for him is a pretty simple one. He knows he can't be a passive against Rafa. He's got to play aggressive. So there's not too many decisions to be made. It's nice and simple.
Those that haven't seen the previous round-robin matches this week, Robbie, what's the speed of the courts this afternoon, and who will it favour and why?
Well, it's probably slow medium. That's most of the feedback we've been getting from the players. Take a quick look at Kim.
He's going to have to serve well, no question about that. He'll be pleased with his opening game-on deal.
I think the surface is probably going to favour Murray a little bit. I think any time he takes Nadal on a hard court, unless it's ultra slow, it might favour Nadal. But it's going to favour Murray, not a whole lot. But I think his record against Nadal on a hard court speaks for itself. So therefore, any time they play on this particular surface, it is going to favour the Scot over the Spaniard.
Throw in the 17,500 people, the majority of which will be perhaps behind Murray, and you've got the perfect stage, really, to try and beat the best player in the world.
But saying that, the applause when both players came out was probably just in favour of Murray. A lot of Spanish fans I saw milling around here a little earlier before they came into the stadium. Obviously, it's just a short trip away from Spain to here.
And, of course, you know, vast majority of neutrals love Nadal as well. Why wouldn't they? So a very even contest in that regard.
Here's an interesting question for you. On a hard court, who do you think defends better out of these two guys?
Well, they're both great, aren't they? Nadal's movement is a little better than Murray's, but that's not to suggest Murray is sluggish by any stretch of the imagination. Murray anticipates so well, so even though he doesn't move as quickly as Nadal, he still gets so many balls back because of that very fact. So I think there's very little in it. Murray's slice backhand and the drop shot perhaps might be just a little better, but then Nadal's improved that slice backhand so much in the last 2 or 3 seasons, and we know he can drop shot with the very best of them as well. It's a shot that we see him use a lot on clay, and he won't hesitate if he gets an opportunity this afternoon, but I think we'll see more drop shots from Murray than we will Nadal.
We saw Burdich have a lot of success in his opening set against Rafa yesterday with that backhand cross-court. Hit flat and hard.
That's why it's imperative for Murray to have that aggressive mindset, because you do need the pace when you're trying to break down Nadal's forehand. It's interesting talking about the matchup between the two, isn't it? What does Murray do better than Nadal, as far as you're concerned?
On a hard court, of course. I'll ask you that question about the movement a little earlier, because I think he moves better on a hard court. Just fractionally better, and I think often that's what distinguishes the two when they play against each other on this surface. Obviously, growing up playing indoors, playing on a hard court, a lot more. He understands the nuances just a little better.
Oh, what a shot that was. Loves that backhand cross course. That one had pace and depth.
That's got some serious pace on it, as you suggested.
Yeah, when you talk about the movements, I was wondering whether it might not necessarily be that Murray's a better mover, just more comfortable moving on a hard court.
Yes. No.
Because, of course, Nadal much more comfortable moving on a clay court.
Yes. I'm talking small percentages here, you know. Very little in it.
I think one of the reasons Murray does relatively well against lefties is because the backhand is very strong from a technical perspective. And when Nadal plays him and hits that topspin on a hard court, cross court to Murray's backhand, he can step in and take it on the rise. He's got two hands on the backhand, unlike Federer, who sometimes struggles to really hit through that ball aggressively because it's much more difficult with just one hand on the racket. Murray's backhand return slightly stronger perhaps than the forehand, so therefore Nadal serving that lefty slider out right to the ad court where a lot of the big points are played. Murray's comfortable hitting the return, so I think as a matchup it's quite good as far as Murray's concerned.
Definitely. No question about that.
Well, perhaps given the record between these two, and the fact that Murray's had so much success recently against Nadal on this surface, we should be talking about what Nadal needs to do to hurt Murray this afternoon.
Absolutely. That's a valid point, and we'll certainly get into that.
Whoa, yes!
Anything you can do, I can do better.
Murray playing to his strengths. And that's where Nadal sometimes struggles against opponents on a hard court, where he drops that forehand short, and that allows the opposition to really hit through the ball. Look at the backswing there. And the pace that he's able to generate because of the size of the swing. Absolutely phenomenal. Serving very effectively so far. Murray leads 2-1 first set.